Hi all, welcome to part 5 module 2 computer networks. So we were discussing the data link layer design issues. We started our discussion with the framing and different techniques of framing we've seen, and in addition to framing, of course we have this error control, and error control we are not giving much attention. Maybe in data communication class and all we saw this different error detection technique and all, so we are just touching up this only. So if you look at the data link array, so having solved the problem of marking the start and end of the frame, that is by the 4 techniques or its combination that we already seen. So we come to the next problem. So how to make sure all frames are eventually delivered. So this error control is used in a general term. It is not like you are sending some information that is containing some error. It is not like that. Situations are there like the information as a whole is lost, or when you send back the acknowledgement is lost, or the information is reaching out of order, and what about its ordering, and now it's ordered, it's reached correctly and in order, it is erroneous. So like that, it is something discussed as a general terminology for all this problem. So how to make sure that all the frames eventually deliver to the network layer first of all, and also in the proper order. So you have to make sure both. Now assume for the moment that the receiver can tell whether a frame that it receives contains correct or faulty information, say using some code. So as we already seen some error detection code, the receiver can tell whether the received message is faulty or not. Now what about the message which is simply missed out? Okay. So for unacknowledged connectionless service, that is something we already seen, no connection establishment. And the first category, like there is no acknowledgement at all, this will work fine. That is if the sender just keeps outputting frames without regard to whether it they arriving properly or not, because acknowledgement nothing we are bothering. But now when it comes to reliable connection oriented service, if our requirement is like that, so in the sense if the protocol don't have to care much when it comes to unacknowledged connection less service, means the protocol is not doing much, in the sense the network what we have is reliable, right? But if you are working in an unreliable network like a wireless network, definitely some reliability is to be added by the data link layer. So that should be clear in your mind, where we are using this unacknowledged connectionless service when the underlying settings is reliable. Now when the underlying settings are not reliable, we will go for acknowledged connectionless or acknowledged connection oriented service, which is a reliable connection oriented service, and we need it when the underlying setup is unreliable, like say wireless communication. So in that case, we can't simply ignore things like that. So what we are normally doing is we will depend on the feedback. So the usual way to ensure reliable delivery is to provide the sender with some feedback about what is happening in the line, whether the information properly delivered, if it is delivered, whether it delivered data is correct or not, or some other issue. So that proper feedbacking should be given back to the sender. So this is also a data link layer issue. So how it is handling this feedback mechanism. So normally this feedback is what we call as the acknowledgement message. So typically the protocol calls for the receiver to send back special control frames called the acknowledgement frames, bearing a positive or a negative acknowledgement about the incoming frame. So you can think of positive and negative acknowledgement. If everything works fine, that can be informed back to the sender by sending a positive acknowledgement. Now if an erroneous data came, it can be informed back by negative acknowledgement. And sometimes if the data not received at all, no acknowledgement will come back at all. Then by using some timer and all, it will time out, and it may retransmit, and so maybe some situation it may not even use any timer. So many combinations you can think of. So if the sender receives a positive acknowledgement about a frame, it knows that the frame has arrived safely, where a negative acknowledgement means that something has gone wrong with the frame and it has to be retransmitted again. So that about the data link. So we are just touching about this topic only, the error control, but these things Somehow this flow control and error control together certain protocols we will see, but error detection and all we will not cover here because it is something that you already seen in your data communication, and maybe in the higher layer the techniques like checksum, if time allows, we will see there. CRC is something that you can refresh at this point, like how this error detection is happening in the data link layer. Now this timer and sequence number is something that I already told you in the previous, that ordering you can depend this sequence number, and the timer you can depend when the acknowledgement is say lost, or that packet lost and acknowledgement is not coming. In such situation you can depend this timer. So another issue comes from the possibility what will happen from the frame vanishes, right? Other than erroneous the receiver is receiving erroneous data. If the receiver is not receiving the data at all, something sent by the sender but it vanishes somewhere, so how you will tackle this? So in this case the receiver will not react at all, since it has no reason to react, because we are not getting a negative acknowledgement even. That is the situation. So similarly another case, the acknowledgement is being sent but it is lost. So what the sender will do in that case, whether it has to wait infinitely for acknowledgement or not? It would be clear that the protocol in which the sender transmits a frame and then waits for the acknowledgement will hang forever if no alternative measures were taken. Simply it will keep on waiting for the acknowledgement. Two cases, data is not received, so no acknowledgement sent back, or acknowledgement sent back but it is lost on the way. So in both cases sender may wait forever and or it hang forever. So if the frame ever lost due to for example malfunctioning of the hardware or faulty communication channel. So this possibility is dealt by introducing the timer. So that's timer. Why timer? In the sense we don't want to wait forever. We can use a timer and we can fix a reasonable timing, and after that if some response is not coming from the receiver, we can go for the next level communication. So when the sender transmits a frame, it generally starts a timer also along with the it just sent the frame, then it started a timer. Now the timer is set to expire after an interval of time long enough for the frame to reach the destination, to be processed at the destination and have acknowledgement propagate back to the sender. So how you will fix the timer time? After how long the timer has to expire? So you have to give enough time for the sender to travel from the sender to the receiver, and it is to be processed by the receiver. So some time you have to assume for the receiver to process the frame, some enough timing, and the acknowledgement is to be generated and it should also travel back to the sender. So how much time it is taking as a whole? So normally it is a propagation time 2 times, like the frame has to travel from sender to receiver and the reply has to travel from receiver to sender. So minimum that propagation time, the time taken to travel from one point to another 2 times, 2 into propagation time plus some frame processing time. So that you have to estimate, and accordingly you have to set the timer. Normally the frame will be correctly received and the acknowledgement will get back before the timer turns out. So then everything is fine. If you are getting the acknowledgement and the processing is done, if you get the acknowledgement before the timer expires, then you can simply cancel the timer again. You can proceed for sending the next frame and you can start the timer again. So that is the normal scenario. Now however, if either the frame or the acknowledgement is lost, then definitely the timer will go off. It will expire, all alerting the sender a potential problem, and accordingly sender can retransit or it can do something to tackle the problem. So the obvious solution is just to transmit the frame again. So that is a simple way it can retransit the frame. So but when you are retransmitting, suppose the acknowledgement lost is the situation. The acknowledgement lost, original frame reached the receiver. So because the acknowledgement is not coming, you are retransiting again, because you don't know the actual scenario whether it is a data or the acknowledgement lost. So you will assume something wrong happened and you are going to retransit it again. But in reality, if it is acknowledgement only lost, then the same message being received at the receiver side 2 times. Now those duplicates, and this may repeat maybe more than one iteration also. Now however, when the frames may be transmitted multiple times just because of this kind of a misunderstanding, there is a danger that the receiver will accept the same frame 2 or more times and may pass to the network layer. So the duplicate information being passed to the higher layer, and that is not a good thing. So somehow you should filter filter the duplicates at the data link layer itself, and that is for what we are using the sequence number. To prevent this from happening, it is generally necessary to assign some unique sequence number to outgoing frames so that the receiver can distinguish the retransmission from the original. In the sense, if the message is retranslated again and again, then in all those messages sequence number will be same. For different messages only, the sender will be attaching different unique sequence number. So by looking at the sequence number, the receiver can understand whether it is a duplicate message or not. Accordingly, it will filter it out and only unique messages will be forwarded to the higher layer. So that about these two technique. Now flow control, we will look into it as another design issue of data link layer, the speed mismatch, how we are dealing with it, and again you are familiar with this topic. Another important design issue in the data link layer and of course at the higher layer is what to do when a sender that systematically wants to transmit frames faster than the receiver can accept. The receiver is slower or sender is fast enough that it is sending that the receiver is not able to synchronize with it. So this situation can occur when the sender is running on a fast, powerful computer, maybe a powerful server machine, and the receiver is running on a slow, low-end client machine, say. So a common situation is when a smartphone gets a web page from a far powerful server. Say in your mobile phone, if you are requesting for a web page, the web page is coming from a far powerful 24/7 running server machine, and you are accepting it using your poor mobile phone, and you can compare the efficiency and speed of your machine with the powerful server. So which then blasts the data and at the poor helpless phone until it is completely swamped. So now what is the solution? So even if the transition is error free, the receiver may be unable to handle the frames as fast as they are sent by the sender, or will lose some. In the sense, there is no error at all. The frame is in the previous case the frame is lost due to some network failure or some breakdown on the way, but here the problem is because of the slow receiver. Receiver is slow enough that it can't read more, so something which is the sender is sending more than what the receiver can do, it will simply ignore them. And again we have this lost message problem, but now it is due to the flow control, lack of flow control. So the two approaches are commonly used, flow control techniques were there. The first one is the feedback based flow control and another one is rate based flow control. So name itself you can guess what it is. Feedback based flow control means receiver is sending a feedback back to the sender. Now by looking at the feedback, the sender will understand what is the situation of the receiver, whether it is fast enough or it's on the right speed or it is slower. Accordingly the sender can regulate the flow. So some kind of feedback is helping to regulate the flow. So the receiver sends back information to the sender, giving it a permission to send more data or at least telling the sender how the receiver is doing. So whenever the sender is getting the correct feedback from the receiver asking is it for data, then only the sender will send the data. Otherwise the sender is supposed to wait till the receiver is free to accept the data from the sender. Otherwise no need, simply you are giving, the other party is not ready to receive what you are giving, right? It will be just gone waste, right? Even my class also I am putting this much effort. If you people don't want it, simply it will go useless. So with real life examples like this you can compare this situation of our network also. So in the second category, that is this feedback based technique, we will see in detail maybe in upcoming session. And another way of controlling the flow is rate based flow control, where the protocol has built-in mechanism that limits the rate at which the sender may transmit data without using feedback from the receiver. So here it is not taking the feedback from the receiver at all, but the sender is very careful. Some rate based technique, maybe traffic shaping, and different variations are having this for this technique, and with that it is controlling the flow. It will not send information beyond high speed, and or at least for a communication with a specific receiver it will regulate the flow. And now it is not based on the feedback message being communicated from the receiver back to the sender. So that is another variation. So the feedback based schemes are mostly used in the data link layer and of course in the higher layers also, but if you are looking at rate based schemes, they are used mainly in transport layer protocols only. I mean particularly for the TCP is using rate based flow control technique. We will see that in detail if time allows when we discuss the TCP protocol. Now what about the feedback based technique? They are mostly used in data link layer and higher layer. So particularly as it is used in data link layer, we will see the feedback based technique in detail in our subsequent videos. Particularly that stop and wait ARQs, sliding window ARQ. Under these names we will see these feedback based techniques in detail. So that about it, we will wind up this session here. So what we discussed, we saw a number of design issues for the data link layer. Starting from the framing and different ways of doing that, the error control, particularly the ordering, sequencing, coming out of means erroneous data is coming in, data lost and acknowledgement lost, the introduction of timer, many things to handle the erroneous situations, and of course the flow control. And this flow control technique, again we will see the feedback based flow control technique in detail in our subsequent session. So that is where we are moving on to. So the design issues, hope you get an overview. 3 techniques were mainly explained, but it is not ending here. Media access control, I mean how the media access is done properly, and that is actually second half of your second module, and that is again a design issue of which media access control technique is to be used. It's design issue of data link layer, and of course that physical addressing and MAC addressing, how the individual machines will be identified uniquely in a data link layer protocol. So that is also an issue, and so that about it. Those 5 issues, if you want, you can list for exam. Other than this flow control, error control, and framing, this physical addressing and that media access control, at least you can explain. So that's all. Thank you. For any doubt you can ask in our discussion session.